Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of this irae. So yeah, we last time opened the thing in the hospital, and possibly we are going to have the alliance with Trifa, so this is going to be interesting. But for now, we're going to dive into the park, and seems like it's not going to be a very fun time in park. So yeah, I assume it's Schreiber, but who knows? Let's see. Actually, now I think about this, it could be Bay, because if Schreiber is supposed to be where Rea is, then we still have Bay walking around, so it could be Bay. Actually, it can be Bay. There's like too much blood for like Bay doing this, I think, but yeah, I guess. Why not? Let's see. With a loud rumble, the rails of the roller coaster broke and collapsed to the ground. The people within scattered and fell, blooming into sanguine flowers upon hitting the vivid concrete below. Creaks resounded as the large attraction fell, as there was no hint of screaming or panic. Actually, you know what? I just realized, I didn't realize this in the previous episode, actually, in the end, but this area is all red. I just like looked at the red stains, but this whole area is red, and what's making sky and everything red? Bay Beriach. It's basically the Crimson Moon, right? So he's using his third degree here. Okay, so it's Bay. After all, everyone was dead. Wow. There wasn't even a single exception. The people, birds, dogs, cats, and even fish in the aquariums all met their brutal end. Yeah, okay, so it's Bay, actually. Yeah, I was wrong in the previous episode. The grumbling Ivory demon didn't even turn to look at any of it. What he did was nothing but entertainment to him. It might have been veiled as the mission, but his core objective was to have fun. And if the distraction failed to entertain, complaining was a natural reaction. Then again, it was no different from the norm. The years he'd lived were closing upon 90. Okay, he's around 90. And although most of them had been filled with murder and carnage, the prey that truly caught his eye always slipped away into the hands of someone else. The more he sought something, the more distant it became. So if he's 90, that means like he's actually reaching the limit of like their immortality, right? Because Rusauka said that LDO members can like live up to 100 years. They can extend this like to the extreme, and that would be like 300, but they would die anyway at some point. They're not like entirely immortal. He was indeed a man constantly being robbed of something. Wilhelm Ehrenburg's long existence was one devoid of victory. A self-mocking grin appeared on his face. As meager as it was, the expression was unlike him. It's very like him. That was the sole reason he shed and sucked blood. His rods were not unlike those of the lowly animals. Wilhelm lacked the sentimentality to grieve over such circumstances, but he believed discarding his blood bonds to be the only way to rid himself of the karma that burdened him. Therefore, if it still wasn't enough, he would only repeat it. Or he could think of any other method. He couldn't think of any other method. Yeah, just continue until it works, huh? Sounds like something that Bay would do, actually, yeah. Wilhelm would shed and drink blood to continue his renewal, and the few hundred lowly mongrels like the ones he had just crushed would never make him reach it. Cutting his words short, he started to ponder. Wasn't really a good idea. It wasn't like he had much affinity for her, but the time they spent together was certainly long. Is he talking about Rusauka? Is he like having idea of like, hey, you know what? I will just fight Rusauka because that sounds like fun. He's always being like with Rusauka in like almost every scene, so yeah, they spent time together a long time, yeah. It must be about her. Are we going to have Bei versus Rusauka here? More importantly, was it really possible for the act he'd been considering to brand his body if the promised stigmata? The sides of his mouth slid up to reveal two sharp canines as the hem of his coat danced in the wind. Stupid. Beyond idiotic. The only order his loyalty bound him was the completion of the swastika. As long as he didn't stray from that prerequisite, nothing else he did would be questioned. Okay, so he just decided like, yeah, I will open a thing and I will just fight one of us. So yeah, it's like win-win. The bursting flames had reached his feet and were painting his pallid face with a red glow. Okay. That was loud as fuck. Okay, 1 second. Did I mess up something in sound settings? No, it's still low. What the fuck? Oh wait, that could be special effects volume. Let's just turn it down a bit. It was loud as hell. He pulled his hand out of his coat pocket and punched away a steel frame that fell beside him. Paying no mind to the way it crashed and broke, Wilhelm muttered in a low tone. Okay. Maybe it's not about Rusauka? It sounds like someone he knows where, because he talked about she. I still think it's about Rusauka, but that means that he knows where she is at this point, because we don't know where she went. Thick with the demon bloodlust, the white breath he exhaled rode the wind and disappeared. As if following after it, the sound of his boots and the black of his coat merged with the shade of the night. Bei's way of traveling is so cool. Nigredo albedo rubedo. I don't think I need explanation for this. Actually. Okay. Chapter up. Rea is praying, right? It's Rea, I think. So we are going to have a whole chapter about all 3 Einherjars? Are we going to have like a bit more details about their backstories maybe? A solemn voice echoed through the stillness of the church, singing a requiem to honor someone uncertain. Her voice was damp with blood. The melody didn't carry no pain, but it was filled with regret, as well as grief and compassion for those who passed away. Okay. That's a new CG. That's the one that's like, I think that's the CG that flashed, right? In one of the previous episodes when I asked if we had the CG. So that was like from this. Why we had the flashback of this scene when this scene didn't happen yet? Mercurius, what the fuck? We are doing some weird stuff here, definitely. How we could have a like flashback memory idea thing in the game when this didn't happen before? Come on. Rahimuro kneeled in the church all by her lonesome, not moving a single muscle. The pain scorching her stigmata was proof of yet another swastika opening, which could only mean that a few hundred people had just died somewhere in the city. The truth horrified her, but she was unable to do anything about it. She lacked the power to stop them, and the moral integrity to truly mourn for the deceased. She also knew that the prayers wouldn't help, but... yeah. 4 more until Reinhardt is back and you fulfill your destiny, basically, right? I'm still like... I don't know, like... I think like you mentioned this in comments before, but I kinda keep forgetting this, probably. Unless you actually didn't. Like, I'm still a bit confused, like, actually a lot. Why Rhea is just like accepting it all like that? Actually no, I talked about this. Now when I think about this, I talked about this. Yeah. Like, technically, if she take her own life, then like she will save everyone, but you do not want to normally take your life. So yeah, that's why she cannot do anything, because she don't want to die, but she is unable to stop them. So it's like the predicament for her, like she cannot do nothing, but she, yeah, like basically she cannot do nothing. She just is there like and wait. Yeah, not everyone is heroic to like and stuff, right? Yeah. Okay, I think I get it now, yeah. Her faint voice melted into the chapel. As if bearing her own weight, the girl forced more power into her joined hands. But also, the one thing that is... Also, like, this fury doesn't make sense to me from the perspective of, like, the first road, I believe. When, basically, the Einherjar has been sealed because she didn't want it to die. Right? So... doesn't mean that she wants to die in normally, like she wants to fulfill her destiny. If she wants to die, then technically she could end everything, right? If she destroyed the Sonnenkind, basically, right, like herself. Still, as I said, it would like require her for like self-sacrifice and actually do something, but something horrible. But yeah, technically she can do that, right? And that would like stop everything. I mean, we know that Kasumi is a thing, so they can use Kasumi, but she don't know yet. So technically she could do that with thinking that, hey, you know what, I'm stopping your doing right now. And like, we are finishing this irae in like 2 chapters. A smiling visage of a blonde, well-mannered man appeared under her closed eyelids. No one was there to answer a question. Valeria Trifa wasn't in the church. That much was certain. The girl could do nothing but imagine what he was doing and picture the results it would bring about. Rhea made a silent plea for help. She didn't know what endangered her, or who could save her and how. It was something more fundamental, deep, dark, and far beyond such certain vectors. It could have been in vain, the torrents of death surging through her body, every time a swastika opened. Or perhaps it was fear, the dread of the demise brought about by the destruction of torrents forebode. Or maybe the memories of those sunny days, the miraculous blessing she would never see again. The strength in Rhea's joined fingers could make her hands bleed. She never had a mind for prayer. Was someone who's grown up in the church The girl was far from religious, and that hadn't changed, as it wasn't belief that that held her hands together. She only felt compelled to do so, because otherwise she would... Eventually, she would forgotten to breathe. So she does think about what I said. She does think about taking her own life, actually. But she don't want to. So she had the idea that I had, right? Like, terrible idea, but still the idea, right? Okay. That is, like I said, like, she don't want to do this, but she kinda want to make everything to stop. So she's kind of prepared, but not prepared to do this, actually. She raised her head and saw the statue of Christ coldly gazing down at her, its shadow cast by the candlelight. Her own guilty conscience made the glare appear full condemnation. Rhea pondered what the woman would think of her doing this. Would she be surprised, saddened, or perhaps even amused? The girl didn't have the answer. Rhea Triff and Lisa Brenner, two people who betrayed their appearances and spent a life doing the opposite of pious worship and missionary work. They were no clergymen. The girl born and raised under their wing had no right to pray to the god. Searching for the words in penitence, she fell silent. What did she have to repent for? And to whom did she have to confess? Before she was even born, the girl was tampered with so much it was hard to call her human. Oh? That she knew full well that her words would never reach the seat of God. I guess that she means just like she's been like get to know, right? Like she was taught that she's like son and kind, and she will be used as the vessel, basically, as the sacrifice, I would say, right? Rhea couldn't have been more aware of the happening around her. It was why she made peace with her inability to stop the devilish desires of those called Beast and Mercury, and abandoned all hope. She led a life of seclusion and solitude exactly because of that. And see, this is why I... Yeah, she's still clinging to hope. She says that she abandoned hope and everything, but she's still clinging to hope because otherwise she would end herself, basically, right? She led a life of seclusion and solitude exactly because of that, yeah. She'd resigned herself to die as a tool within the devil's plot. Why can't you die as a tool but outside of devil plot? I mean, you sound very prepared and determined that you don't want to leave, actually. Like, it's a thing from like first road. So why are you still waiting and letting them to use you like this? Yeah, okay, I'm going back to the thing that she actually is scared to do the thing, but okay. Okay, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Oh, sorry. I'm just like... I just don't know, like... Rhea is such a good character that is like... It's like a realistic character, I would say. Because... if you're like normal person and you would like... Yeah, you probably would do the same, I think. Like, you wouldn't have the courage to like basically do something. But you would have like still like glimpse of hope that maybe something will end like good, but at the same time you will be like devastated, you would be like depressed. And just go like, yeah, whatever will happen, that will happen, like I don't care anymore. But actually you would not do anything to yourself. I think it's like that. Yeah. She's very well written. I like it. If only she hadn't met him. Yeah. And she met Fuji, yeah. The rooftop was the place, devoid of people and space. She would have all to herself for the whole year, right until he barged in. Things would have stayed the same if she only distanced herself from him, like she did from everyone else. Why didn't she? That question drifted to the forefront of her mind. Back then, she seems like just another boy with nothing special to him. Their first meeting wasn't memorable in the least, and she didn't pay any mind to his presence. They interacted on the whim. It sort of just happened, nothing more. Almost as if it was meant to happen, no matter how many thousands of times it was repeated. Okay, that's hopefully specific. No way. That couldn't have been so. She scolded herself for trying to shift the blame on something she couldn't even fathom. I mean, we can blame Mercurius, yeah. It was all her own fault. Rahimur was guilty of having and clinging to silly dreams. Everything was but a punishment for her inability to bear the path of the solitude. She was being judged for giving in to her weakness and getting too close to Ren Fuji and the people surrounding him. With those thoughts weighing down on her, Rhea could do nothing but pray. She pled to be the only one in harm's way, for she was the one who had sinned and had given in to weakness. Rhea, the problem is, if you will be the one who will bear everything and you will just let them do what they want, then you basically destroying whole world. There was no reason for him to be hurt because of her own mistakes. Yeah, millions of people will be hurt. The boy was surely in the midst of the battle right now, and the girl even knew his opponent. It was Lisa, and no doubt about it. Lisa and Fuji alike were being hurt, shedding tears and blood. And at the end of all, one of them would die. Through her mind, it to be in vain, she couldn't hold back her prayer. She begged the powers that be to leave them both unhurt. Yeah. But she couldn't finish her earnest plea. Schreiber? I mean, they said that Schreiber is where Rhea is, right? Lightning ran under her closed eyelids. The same sensations before, the piercing sting of stigmata and the imagine of death surging through her. Oh, that's the sensation that she gets when the thing is opened. So this is the second in the same night. They said maximum 2 is Solenkind can take, so she's probably going to bleed a lot right now, right? Yep. Her eyes widened in shock as a single tear trailed down her cheek. That alone was enough for her to know. The swastika's opened with Lisa alive, no doubt about it. Oh, this is the first one. This is not the park. Unless the park was one and now it's the second one. Maybe park was the first, actually. Because pretty much park is aftermath, what we saw with Bay. So maybe, yeah, the hospital is the second one. But if that was the case, then... Ra uttered the sacred words, feeling new-seated, but the sheer wretchedness of the emotions feeling within her chest. However, the overwhelming self-hatred made the girl's tongue weight too heavy to continue. Lisa's death meant that Fuji was still alive. She found a sinful relief within that truth. A palpably bloody breath escaped her lips through a sign. Real relief proved to her the survival of the man who once rejoined her was more important than Lisa's death. If self-loathing was enough to stop her heartbeat, she wanted to keep kneeling here until it happened. But then... Oh! I expected Schreiber to come to here and not Rusauka. Okay. Rusauka, don't do any funny thing with Sonnenkind, you know? Reinhardt will be angry if you do that. The sheer abruptness of the voice surprised Rhea into standing up. She have Lisa eyes, if you think about this. If you would put like the mole under her eye, she would look like Lisa. She, like these eyes, these sharp eyes, like when they're looking, it looks like Lisa. You can clearly see Lisa in her. Yeah, hi. Why the soundtrack started suddenly? Is this a new soundtrack? Wait. Did we hear this before? Can you let me know? I think it's the first time I hear this one, actually. Yeah. Huh. The redhead sat on the chapel table with a menacing smile. Sauka Schwagelin, and in spite of being almost the first time they talked, Ra knew her well. The witch was more or less a living example of the saying that one should never judge a book by its cover. Yeah. Okay. In contrast to her amicable demeanor, the shadow she cast under the candlelight was dense and chaotic. It crawled, stretched, contracted like entrails, as though it were a being of its own. Oh, so her normal shadow even is like this. Okay. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. Also, I never like actually questioned this after the first road. The thing about Rusauka, because Rusauka in the first road, after we... Actually, it's actually probably in the every road, but we're just skipping this because it's always the same. When Rusauka talked with Ren on the rooftop, she goes like... She's saying like she's stronger than she used to be, right? And she's like walking next to Ren, and like the barrier on the rooftop is like rusting away, like disintegrating when it touched her shadows. Like, is that like some kind of ability that we still never saw? And it's only hinted in that one place? Or these shadows of her actually can, like, you know, rust away things, but we actually never saw it. Because it's never been a thing, it's only on this rooftop one time. She just walked past Ren and like the barrier got like rusted away, basically. It's kind of bothering me. I don't know. If that's not a spoiler, you can tell me. But if it's something I'm still not supposed to know, then yeah, just tell me that I'm still not supposed to know. Because it's kind of bothering me. The witch saw right through her while revealing a shocking truth.
あれもしかして知らないとでも思ってたわけテレジアヒムラ
Wow, full name. This is the first time we actually see her like other name in full. So she's Himmler. Wait, so Sonnenkind father is Himmler? From World War II? Not Mercurius or Reinhardt? Okay, that comes out of nowhere. That's surprising. Rhea stiffened as Rusałka started her with the impish smile on her face. Obscene and covetous, the expression was reminiscent of the carnivorous plants.
なんだあなた知らなかったのそうよ彼女はあなたのおばあちゃん
Yeah. Okay. Rusałka ran her fingers through her hair and sneered while Rhea looked away and hung her head down, making her forelegs drop and hide her expression.
なーにずいぶん露骨に嫌ってくれるじゃないまいいけどさ
Yep.
ねえテレジアちゃんそんなに気に病むことはないんじゃないの私も人のことは言えないけどあなたのおばあちゃんだって相当な悪党なのよ
I mean, yeah, like a lot of kids died. Lisa Brenner, a member of Lebensborn. Her mission is in the Great War was to the artificial production of Ubermensch.
優生学早い話が人間のさら
Yeah.
誰と誰と交わらせればより良い子供を作れるかどうな
Such acts of playing God weren't as rare as one might think. At the very least, people were crazy about it back then.
彼女が死なせてしまった子供の数
Yeah.
そして愛のかけらもなくちぎってしまった男女の数どちらも1000や2000じゃないわよテレジア当時の彼女の研究施設はまるで聖書にある大敗の都
They were children with brains so large they would make the cranium mutate. My babies with 3 arms or 4 legs were all in a day's work. This is so creepy. They made a lot of like weird crossbreeds, huh? This is sick. Clairvoyance, telekinesis, foresight, and even mind reading. The misfit bunch, born with the superpower channeled, torn open, were all unable to bear the weight of their ability and ultimately got crushed by it. Thus Lisa was Babylon, the queen of the village city, gone mad with the immortality and licentiousness. Immorality, sorry.
口叩いてもしょうがないけどあなたのおばあちゃんはそんな人よでもそれだけだったら時代のせいに
She could.
しゃぶることが
True.
できたでしょうね彼女が本当に最悪で私が何気に感心しちゃってるのはむしろその後つまりあなたのおじいちゃんに
Their own children partaking, that includes your granddad, yeah, so basically the Isaac, right? Lisa paid no heart to the kinship of blood relation. All she followed were utilitarianism and realism. As far as that might seem, those thoughts were far too detached from the universal concept of motherhood.
ひどいわよね数千単位の実験で培ったノウハウを一番信用できる自分を母体にして試したのよ結果見事大当たりレーベンスボルンの悲願だった増年菌と第一世は誕生し三世のあなたで完成したわけ
Yep.
まあ間に東洋人の血を混ぜたのがこっちとしては痛恨っていうか情けない話だけど唯一成功したあなたが初期の構想から言ったら失敗作でしかないなんて笑い話ね
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because if you think about this, they wanted to make, as she said, Ubermensch, right? So the first Sonnenkind, Isaac probably, I mean, like they said, right? But Isaac would be like perfect and he had probably powers, and Johann was like powerless. So Rhea, as she's powerless, she's not technically a perfect Sonnenkind, right? She's pure blood Sonnenkind, yeah, but she's not a perfect one, just as the first one.
だからテレジや、気に病むのはやめなさいよ。あなたが今の立場になったのは、元を正せばあの女のせい。
Wow.
国営宅の一員としては不謹慎かもしれないけど、
Wow,
あ
Rusałka.
なたが望むなら
While squinting her eyes with a sadistic smile on her face, the witch raised her hands and released an exaggerated shout.
まあ見ろリザ・ブレンナー、お前が死ぬのは自業自得だ。私の怒りは思い知れ。ほら早く
Damn.
遠慮しないで言いなさいよ。だってどうせあなたもさ。黙って。
Yep. Ra interrupted. This is a solo with a short yet firm expression, making Rusałka eyes widen in disbelief.
何？もしかして怒ってるわけ？
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Ra stood silent as the room's shadows began to crawl, as if they were swarming about her. The redhead witch got off the table and closed in on the girl with dancing shadows trailing behind her.
こっち見なさいよ。ね
Okay, she's scary. Rusałka glared at Rea, but she refused to look back into her eyes. As meager as it had been, it was a clear show of displeasure.
まあいいけどさ。あなた自分の立場分かってる？もう中身ボロボロじゃない？どっちにしろ長生きできそうにないからってやけになられても困るんだけど。
Yeah. The witch fingertips reached for the girl's chest, stopping right above the heart. From there, the stigmata spread all over her body, seeping into her bones and the very soul. And attempts of removal would have been futile.
えげつない術ね。こんなの解除できるやついないわよ。何？呪いにも優生学？初代がった時にかけたものが遺伝で増幅されるって寸法かしら。
Oh.
普通は劣化するものなんだけど。
Interesting. So every next generation of Sonnenkind is actually stronger in terms of like how many openings they can manage. Probably, right? Maybe like the first two were able to only like sustain one opening per time, and Rhea is able to actually hold up to 2 per night. Is that a thing?
ああ、やっぱりメルクリウスはイカれてるわね。これ一体どうやってるのよ。それにこんなわけわからない術、子供に仕込むバビロンってばほんと最悪。やめて。
Rhea murmured a momentary, saw a glimpse of rage appear within Rusałka's eyes, but paid no heed to it. The girl could only feel displeased. She didn't know why, but hearing that witch talk was unpleasant beyond all bearing.
あなたにあの人の何がわかるの？
I had no choice, no idea of what went 60 years ago. So when engraved in her mind was completely different.
リザはね、本当は朝が弱いの。
And yet she always wakes up early to help the girl get to school. Rhea couldn't cook, but Lisa was always there to make her breakfast. Every single day, for years on end. As if she was her actual mother.
私はあの人のことが好き。いなくなってもそれはずっと変わらない。
Yeah.
へえ、
Suddenly her slender arm extended like a whip.
ずっとって何？それどういう冗談かしら。
Him. Urasaka is so good. Such a good villain.
自分に先があるとでも思ってるの？
The witch grabbed the girl by the nape and pulled her in. Despite her being far taller than her, she couldn't help but feel like she was in the grip of a giant. Even in terms of arm strength, the Hexer before Rhea far exceeded a normal human. She could have killed the girl in a heartbeat. However,
無理して気取ることはないのよ。もう大した時間はないんだから。
yeah, not many is left to open.
開いていくスアスチカはカウントダウン。全部
Yeah.
揃えばあなたはおしまい。この町もろとも。それであなたはどうなるの？はあ？
Yeah, will you survive? Did you thought about this? Reinhardt doesn't care if you die or not. Rhea looked right back into the witch, questioning eyes.
あなたはどうなるのって聞いているのよ。アンナ・マリーア・シュベーゲリ。もう
Yeah,
寿命が尽きかけているんでしょう。
that's what we learned in the first road when she was talking about lifespans and how she wants to be immortal actually.
100年200年あなたは何年生きてきたのよ。限界が近づいて私に頼らないと死んでしまいそうなくらい怯えているくせ。
Wow, nice. And basically, yeah, Rusauka, you are talking bullshit, but actually you need Rhea in order to survive. So yeah. Rhea is superior to you here at this point. They don't know about Kasumi. That's what we need to remember. That they can use Kasumi instead of Rhea, but yeah.
メルクリウスの領域にはどうあがいても届かなかったくせに。
No matter how strong the flesh might become, a person's soul would perish in a little over a century. Yeah, so 100 years. Those with the talent could walk the path of sorcery to extend the limit by 1 or 200 years. Yeah, so to 300, so I remember correctly. But death was a certainty for anyone born human, and the only way to go beyond it was...
あなた性質がいるんでしょう。私が動かす
Yeah.
スワスチカが。うるさい。
Yep. And Rusauka got angry. That's a scary face. But she knows it's the truth and she can do shit to Rhea. Yeah. Rusauka heard... okay, never mind. Well, I guess like as long as Rhea is alive, then that's fine to them, right? Yeah, they only need her to be alive. Like, technically... like, if you think about this, like, Rusauka or, like, whoever would like to, they could, like, just, like, take out Rhea to the point of, like, being vegetable in the hospital or something, and as long as she's alive, then she would serve as the sacrifice for the Ark, right? That's fucked up. Rusauka held Rhea in a violent throw, sending the girl body flying as it toppled benches and tables alike.
それが何なの？ええ、あなたの言う通り。
Yeah.
私は死ぬのがとても怖いわ。そうはならない。何のために今まで魂をかき集めてきたと思っているのよ。ハイドリヒ教が完全に戻ってくれば、私はその力を
Yeah.
もらって。
About that.
彼はそんなに甘い相手。
Yeah. And that single question was enough to halt Rusauka in her tracks. Completing the swastika required wholesale carnage at all predefined locations, and since each of them harbored thousands of souls, killing members of the Round Table was a viable alternative. That was all fine by her. Lowly filth who dropped dead during the ritual weren't worthy of the Master's grace. In fact, they should be purged as soon as possible. However, one couldn't forget about Reinhard Herdrich, the Golden Beast, and what kind of man he was.
一人で全て足りている。 国も仲間も部下も
Yeah.
彼は必要として
You don't care. He who stood at the summit stood there alone. No matter what his thoughts and actions were, they would belong only to him. Not a soul could relate to or share anything with that man. If one were to name an exception, it would have been to be that magician, Karl Ernst Kraft. That man irritated Rusauka to no end. She hated and could barely stomach him. The brat was more than 5 times younger than the witch, but his magic was in a realm far beyond her own. What? And that she needed his delivery to extend her life was a fact vexing and disgraceful in the equal measure. Wait, hold on a second. Mercurius is 5 times younger than Rusauka? What? But she's like over 100. What is he like? What is he like, teenager? But he's been around like since like Cagliostro times. What? Unless he's okay, new theory. How it is possible? What if Karl is not immortal, but he can reincarnate himself, basically? Has immortal in terms of like reincarnation. So he basically lives as normal, like he's just dying like normally, and then he gets like reborn as someone else. So maybe current Mercurius as 5 times younger than Rusauka. He will die after like reaching like 100 or something, like any older LDO member or something. Like he will just wither away, but he will be reincarnated as a baby again or something. Maybe that's the thing? Because I don't get it, like how his magic is what? How? However, Osaka began to doubt if he really was no more than what he claimed to be. If he wasn't an entity perplexingly more ancient and powerful compared to what he let on. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's like way above times. At least to the Cagliostro times. Rasa sluggishly got back on her feet, all the while glaring at the pensive witch. Ripped clothes and a few injuries, notwithstanding the determined fire in her eyes hadn't faded in the least. She then spoke a cold, hard truth with a consenting tone. Yeah, you will die, basically. So, is it possible that Urusaka will join the alliance? I mean, Trifa wants alliance. We are probably going K into alliance. Are we going to get Urusaka into alliance? Huh? I mean, she's like out of options. Like, I mean, nah, it's not possible. I mean, like, her only option is to bring back her Reinhardt. Even if this is the risk of like her dying, then it's also opportunity for her to live forever, because she believes that she will get a wish that she wants, and without Reinhardt she cannot get that wish. So her only like way is to take a risk. As Rusauka raised her voice, Re abruptly and coldly asked her a very simple question.
お腹痛いの？苦しそうよ。
Wow. After a momentary silence, Rusaka looked down and saw that she placed her own hand on her lower abdomen without even realizing it. Okay. The action perplexed her. Okay, that's what that's... Okay, that's weird.
いやー、ちょっと邪魔するぜ。
So Bei was looking for Rusauka actually. Okay. Suddenly the door opened to reveal an intruder, prompting both women to turn and look at him. Yep. And with these stairs, we will save and see this in the next episode. So we are actually going to have Bei versus Rusauka. We are actually doing this. Okay. Very interesting episode. We got a bit more of like Rusauka, which is always cool. A bit more about Rhea, how she feels about everything. Rusauka being really antagonistic against Rhea. Rhea talking back to Rusauka, that's like really surprising, but yeah. She needs, like, Rusauka needs Rhea, so yeah, we have like powers established here, like Rusauka is basically higher in the food chain. But yeah, Bei wants to open the third thing during the night, it seems. How it will end, I have a feeling like, I don't know. Will Rhea survive this? I think she will survive this, but that will be like extremely painful to her, right? I wonder who will die, Rusauka or Bei? Who would lose? Like, technically, Bei is stronger, right? Like, he can just like boot up his third degree, hide in shadows. Actually, shadows are a trap in this situation because Rusauka can manipulate shadows. So if Bei would like to hide in shadows, that would be like end of him. But yeah, his third degree will seep out the power from Rusauka pretty fast. I think Rusauka is just going to end, just going to die. There will be some fight, probably quite even in the beginning, but ultimately she will fall, I think. But we'll see that in the next episodes probably. So yeah, thanks for joining. Leave up a like if you liked the episode, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you next one. So thanks, and for now, Pocket Watch is going out.